Hello everybody, welcome back to Naked on Europa. So you find me pretty much where I left off before, a very rough zoom in there. So I've come and stood on the top here. There's the pipeline extending out in front of us. But I thought today what I would do is try and work on another miner. If you'll remember, I mentioned before that that little miner I was kind of hoping to make autonomous. That didn't work, I found out. So I thought today I need somewhere for this other miner to dock. I think here's probably a good place, but I don't want it standing up like that on top of its docking pad. So let me just... nope, wrong one. That one. Just dump some of these down. I brought a few bits up. Just going to leave those there, just so we can get on with building. But I want to put the connector down there. So, let me get the right thing. Right, so just getting my bearings. The start of every episode is difficult. Trying to remember what you were doing and where you were. So I'm just going to go get the stuff for that. Oh, nope, I didn't want to build that. I'll actually dump all that stuff and we'll take some new stuff. Right, the reason I want another miner is I want to be able to use that one for messing around with the pipeline and things, but I also want to have a miner for gold and stuff. That kind of silvery goldy stuff. Now I don't think we're going to be able to automate it, unfortunately. It would have been nice, but I do think maybe... Let's grab a few more of those again. I do think we can possibly make one that works better where the deposits are more flat. And gold, usually the deposits are, I mentioned the word before, striations. So I want to... Nope, wrong one. I want to try and see if we can make something that's going to work better for that kind of mining. And let's just see if we can line this up a little bit better there. We're around about there. Yeah, close enough. There we go. So now you no longer need power on these things. Makes it much easier. So I'm just going to lock that down. We should also choose a colour, because I'm frightfully bad at lights on. Frightfully bad at building grey things. So thought we might go for, well, it's brand new. Let's go for clean armour. And yeah, that's kind of a bit gaudy. So I thought maybe we'd go for perhaps a sort of more orangey yellow. How does that look? Yeah, somewhere around there. Just for a change. Anyhow, on connectors I always like to have a block next to them for like a camera for docking and things. Right, let me have a think about this. I think the main criteria for this is going to be storage. So, thinking... Oh, stop it. I think if we put large ones on there, don't want the small ones on there, so maybe small ones at the side, something like that. Thinking one is probably falling downstairs. One is probably not enough. So go for two. So that's not lined up at all, is it? Let's try that again. No, that's wrong. Alright, so large ones front and back. That looks better. So we go for 2 of those, and then it's going to be hydrogen. So, got a tank. Yes. I think if we put a tank at the back, I think 1 tank should be enough because we're going to be mining everything including ice. So the only thing we're going to need to do then is to make sure we've got plenty of generation on. So that's one of those, we can put that on the front there. There. And one on the back as well. Kind of works. Now the cockpit is going to be a problem on this, but I'm not going to worry about the cockpit. I think I'm going to try and squeeze it in afterwards, depending on how big the drills are on the front here. So before I go any further, well, let's just weld that one up before we forget. I think we could also possibly just put some supports in there. Something like that. Yeah, I quite like that. So this is going to be the front. We'll put the hydrogen tank at the back where it's less likely to get clouted. So let me get some of this welded up. It'd be easier if I had access up here, really, wouldn't it? Oh well. Some of this welded up, and then we can see what's going on and where things can plug in. Okay, I won't weld that up just yet. If I leave the computers out, then it won't be completed. So do that separately. I don't want it to be completed because I don't want it to fill up with precious hydrogen. Just in case I have to move it later on. Okay, so that's everything except the computers, and I'll build that one up as well. Alright, so that's kind of going to be the length of it now. Now, we don't have any side ports on there, so I'm thinking...
Energy low.
Of course it is. If I put those on like that... You got any drills? 7. Be able to put a drill on there. That's a bit close, that is, isn't it? Yeah. Let's change that and we'll put another... where are we? Another one of these, just to bring it out a little bit. Both sides. Can't really see it now because I blocked myself off, but yeah, I think that'll work. And then if we put another one of those in the middle, then I can actually put another drill there. So it's sticking forward one block, but that's okay. That'll help to punch the hole. All right, so being hydrogen, I don't think we need much power. So should we go for a decent looking battery? I'm wondering where to put this. Now we've got the width to play with because of the drills, but not the height. So I'm thinking probably to get away with putting one there. I won't put it there because we'll block that port off. We might need that. Stick a battery on that side. We've got a H2O2 generator, so we don't need oxygen. But I think on this side we might get away. I don't think I've got. Pretty sure I haven't got. Yeah, I'm thinking we could possibly get away with an engine on this side. It is a block shorter, but that would be useful if we do run out of power. Not that I think that's going to be an issue. Power. Okay, so that's batteries, that's hydrogen, that's O2. I think possibly here. Could just bring that, kind of trying to match, we put those girders in at the front. Right, yeah. So just to give it, again, some support, just so that it kind of looks supported. Quite sure what we're going to do there. Maybe something like that. Yeah, it kind of sticks out a bit there, doesn't it? Well, we can come back to that anyway. Okay, so lots to do. Leave this with me. I'll have a think about where everything's going, and bring you back and show you what I've come up with. Alright, welcome back everybody. So, making a little bit of progress. Having a problem because obviously to get everything in here I can't go up and down if that's the width of the drills. Now you'll understand why in a minute, but it's kind of, I want to have 2 more rows of drills, and it's taken me a little bit to work out how I'm going to do that. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to put some hinges on, oh not those, the small hinges on here. Now these have ports on the edge, and I want these to fold in opposite directions. So this one is going to fold, if I can change it round, I think down, and I'm actually going to have to lock that. Lock on. Because we're also going to have another one. No, we're going to need a gap here, I think. So let me just put in. So that's one block, that's 2 blocks. To need one more, and then another hinge. Also facing the same way, I think. And that's also going to have to get locked. Okay, so let me build some of this up, because I need to be able to see how this is working. But those essentially will fold down and around, and then on the other side we want them to fold, I think, yeah, up over the top. So just before I weld it all up, let's see if we can figure that out. So which way is that? Yeah, that's up. Again, we'll lock it. I think it's a 2 gap. Might have to change that in a minute. Then, yeah, that folds up as well. Lock that one. Sorry, this takes a little bit of working out, but then what we're going to do is we're going to put another drill on the end, like that. It's quite a wide gap, unfortunately, but small grid, I think we'd be alright. Yeah, because it's going to fold there, so I think if we just go one block gap, so that's 2, and then another one. Like that. That gives us a very, very wide spread of drills. Well, all we can do is try it. So, do the same this side. And then a last drill on there. Okay, let me get some of that welded up, and then we'll be able to see the proverbial dog for the rabbit. Or is it the rabbit for the dog? Can't remember. We just run out of construction components. Apparently not. Alright, well, take a few of those. A couple of those. Get this built up. That's all done. That's all done.
Energy low.
Of course my energy's low. Energy's always low. Right, let me just get some energies, and then we'll give that. I can only test one side, because obviously it's too close to the ground to do the other side, but let's just see how that works. So yeah, this is folding down, so obviously we can't do that. But let's see, this is folding up, so we should have power. Yeah, we've got power, so we'll try it. So I'm going to put some braking torque on, probably more than enough. And the velocity, well, first of all, the upper limits are going to be 0. That's where they currently are. Let's do that one as well, make sure we don't smack into the ground. And I'll give that a positive velocity. Some braking torque on that as well. And take that off now. Okay, so that's trying to open, but it's already fully opened. So if we then reverse that one, and if I can reverse that one, oh, that's a bit fast. Maybe 2 is too much. Oh, blimey. Okay, we didn't break anything. Get around there. Yeah. So that kind of works. So once this one's folded up underneath here, we'll have a nice block of drills for drilling a straight hole, or we'll be able to open it up like so to drill a, you know, a flat striation. Is that the right word? Yeah, where the ores are just in one sort of band, one thin band. That's my plan. So, right, let me get all of this sorted out, welded up. I think I'm probably going to have to try and figure out some locking mechanism, because you don't want to be flying around with those things wobbling about. And we've got to work out a cockpit, which I'm thinking probably here, in this gap. somehow. And also we're going to need an ejector system. Not necessarily for ice, because I'd probably be collecting ice anyway, but you know, if we were to ever use this in a stone environment, like if we go down to Mars for instance, we're going to need some kind of ejector system. So I will work all of that out, and well, I'll bring you back and show you the result. So I'll see you in a minute. So here we are. I need to fold that other side in, and to do that I'm going to have to obviously get some clearance. So let me just put my things back on and get rid of these, and I will fold that in, and then I'll give you a tour. Oh, hang on, before I do, I've put these locks on here so that it kind of secures it when you're flying, but I need to unlock that because I've grouped them. So let me just back over here, and oh, now I'm not sure. Just you see them flopping around there. I need to obviously increase tension and all sorts of things, but I haven't played with that yet. So if we go into here, you can see we've got the inner hinges and the outer hinges, but I have no idea which is which. So I'm just going to quickly try that first one. No, that's the wrong one. Okay, so it's that inner and presumably that outer. That looks about right. Okay, so because I've put them all in groups, then we should just be able to press number 3, and that should lock them in place. Let me give you a quick tour. So I've put another O2 generator on here because the cockpit had a very convenient port on the bottom of it, and it was a nifty way of connecting the cockpit in. So, and we need them anyway, obviously. Thruster wise, I've tried to put the thrusters as far back as I can so that they don't get in the way of the drills and things. And I did the hinges in black because I needed to remember which way round they go, because it's not immediately apparent. Anyhow, so you saw me sort of starting off the structure. So we've got 2 large cargo containers in there, 1 warfare battery, and then we've got our hydrogen tank at the back. So I've tidied up this just to aesthetically make it look pleasing, and I've put a reversing camera on so that if we do end up in a hole that we've drilled into, we can actually see to get out of it, because very often that's a problem. I've got lots of lights on, hopefully illuminate our mining thing. Now the sorter system took me a little bit to figure that out. So I've used another connector here, and on top of it, I don't know if you can actually see it, there is one of those large conveyor sorters. I can't really, there you go, you can just see the arrow on it there. So although it's piped from this system, yeah, there, so the pipes come out to this conveyor junction here for the thrusters, and then I've just taken a feed off the pipe to go into the top using a conveyor converter at the top of the sorter, and then that goes into there. So that's our ejector system there. Not quite sure how effective that'll be. So here, as you saw, the hydrogen engine, in case we need it, it's switched off at the moment. So we've got 3 down thrusters on each side here, so that's 6 down thrusters, and then another 3 on each side here, so 12, total of 12 down, which I'm hoping will be enough. And then of course the rear thrust, that's never a problem. You always got loads of room for the rear thrust. I could have put 2 more on here, but I think we're going to need it. Side thrust, obviously, stopping power, we've got 4 on this side and 4 on the other side. I think that'll be okay. And then there are just, I can't quite get high enough, there are 3 thrusters, 1, 2, 3, and then 3 on the other side, so 6 pressing down. So there we go. The only problem is obviously with the cockpit being up there, it's a bit of a jump to get into it, but hopefully that will work. Right, so the question now then is going to be, does she work? And the only way to find that out is to go and drill something. So and find a decent location to start from. Yeah, so this is our mine. Can't actually remember. You haven't got much of a forward view. That's the only downside of this. Kind of relying on the external view, but yeah. So the plan is, if we get somewhere near here, we should be able to hopefully level this off a little bit. Not quite sure how big this drill bite is. Obviously, never used it before. Also regards a ship name, because it's specifically after striations, I decided to call it the Stratos. Don't know whether that makes any sense, really. It just kind of sounded good. Oops. Yeah, so one of the first things that you think of with this that might be a problem is we're going to need quite a big hole to be able to open up the drills. Not much we can do about that, unfortunately. But I wanted to do it this way because it, as you can see, it works as a normal miner ship. Where did I put the there, sorters on there? So if I switch that on, then we should be able to successfully mine out and chuck out the ice. I'd like to see if that's working really. It's not chucking out any ice, is it? Let me just double check we've not done something silly. Ejector sorter is on. Drain all. So I've put ice and stone on there just for future. And that's the ejector itself. Just tell it to throw out. There we go. Okay, so I think we're probably going to collect far quicker than it can actually throw it out. So for now, I'm just going to leave that on. Hopefully, the where are we? Cargo container. Okay. Ooh. Oh, what's it called? O2H2 gens. Switch them off, that's why. Yeah, there we go. So we're getting plenty of ice in there, which should help to replace the hydrogen that we're losing, even although we're ejecting it, which is fine. It's saying we're full. Let's see. It's chucking ice out. See how that settles down. I'd kind of like to try it along this flat line with the drills open, but make a bit of space before I can do that, I think. Could maybe use more gyros. It is just a little bit sticky. Yeah, it's a bit difficult to see where you're mining, that's the problem. Let me just see if I can cut a vertical hole. Okay, I think we're pretty full actually, so let me just check. We're still chucking plenty of ice out. But yeah, if I unlock and then reverse the hinges, if we've got enough room. Have we got enough room? Oh no, maybe not. Maybe. No. No, it's swinging me around there, so I need to find a way of making a bit more room to do that. Okay, just relock those for a minute. Yeah, so that's the only downside. It takes a lot of room, obviously, to be able to unlock those. But oh, it's gold there. I'm thinking that shouldn't be too much of a problem, because if you're setting about digging up a gold mine anyway, you're going to be making a fair amount of room for yourself. Can't see. Yeah, that's one of the problems, isn't it? Get the camera in a position where you can actually see what you're doing. Oof, gold everywhere. Yeah, so perhaps the ejector system isn't quite as efficient as we'd like. Because clearly it's not able to eject the ice as fast as we're mining it, but then we are mining it at a very fast rate of knots. Give that a chance to catch up a little bit. Strangely, having gone to all that trouble, I'll let on our side, this gold is not particularly in flat striations. This is quite bunched up. This opportunity to dig a bigger hole out, I think. Yeah, so we've got quite a big hole here, but it's still, I don't think it's big enough yet. Try it again, maybe. Can't get a view of it. Yeah, okay, that looks better. So I'm wondering whether it might be a good idea to have the opportunity here to lock those hinges. We're going to really find that out by trying it. Oops. It's all go or nothing, isn't it? Okay, so you can see the idea here anyway. It's where you've got, you know, a flat line of ore. You want to just be able to go in and get that ore and not have to worry about too much of the ice and stone and things that's lying around the outside of it. But I'm actually having a problem rotating left here, so I don't know whether that's something to do with the hinges or whether I'm catching that piece of ice on the left there. Maybe I'm catching that piece of ice. Yeah, we are actually full, so I'm just going to wait for some of that ice to get lost. Would be nice to take it back to the base, but they'll get plenty of that in the iron mine. Okay, that's quite a big pile of ice down there, isn't it? I think maybe more ejectors are required, but I don't know where I would put them. Yeah, still lots of ice. Do it that way round. Yeah, so we're nowhere near full. We've got loads of space left in that cargo container, and this one will be empty once we get rid of all this ice. So yeah, definitely got enough storage, not enough ejection. Anyhow, you live and learn. Certainly as far as a drill ship goes, she's behaving quite well. The only problem really is the ejection, it's just not fast enough. So I think maybe we'll switch the ejection off there. It'll take a second because obviously its connector is still full. Then Then I will drill this little bit of ice to make sure everything is full of ice, and we'll take that back to the base. Okay, so we're pretty full there. Let's see how maneuverable it is. Yeah, pretty good. Where's the hole? There's the hole. Make sure we're flat and level. Well, oodles of power. No problem lifting that load at all. Ooh, that's a lot less claustrophobic. And the sun is up again. That's how long that lot took. Okay, so not that one, must be that one. There we go. So the camera is at the front of the docking connector, so we go down on this light somewhere. Should be pretty close. There we go. And dock. Alright, so all in all, not unsuccessful, but I think a few improvements could be made. I'm not quite sure how I can speed up the ejection rate. We might end up having to go back to the smaller sorters, and maybe having some of the small connectors, as they're now called. But for a maiden flight, I think that was pretty good. So let's have a look. How's the refinery doing? So Commons has got nothing. High grade has got 20k gold. And the mid grade, nothing. Which is the way it was planned. So that's good. That all worked. Let me dump those components in. And right. Pat ourselves on the back for a job kind of completed. So I'm going to consider that done, but obviously I do need to just think about making a couple of changes. The hangar is the next thing, but we do need to finish the mining. Let's just go and have a look where we left it. Yes, I remember now. My nightmare is coming back to me. So, what I was wondering here, we don't know how deep the iron is, so I'm going to plunge mine down and find out, you know, exactly what the ore deposit looks like. If it's just one big flat layer, we could try the same thing as we did on the ship and put sort of drills that fold out on here. But looking at it, it looks as if it goes down and down and down. I think we've already done... Did we do a full plunge? I think we did. So aside from just continuously adding more drills and more pistons, I'd like to try and think of something a little bit more cleverer for that. Not sure what we're going to do with this hole here. But yes, thank you for the suggestion. It was suggested that if I put like a hinge in there, I didn't really need to make this into a station. I could have put wheels on and just rotated it left and right according to where the deposit was. Thank you for that. The reason I'm not going to do that this time is because I'm fairly certain we know where the deposit is. I've marked it with these blocks, and hopefully we're going down somewhere near the middle of it. So for that reason, I don't think we need to be able to swing, all the way over there or over there. If the deposits were far apart, as in 50 yards, 100 yards apart, then yeah, that might be an option. But that's not the case, so I'm not too worried about that. Alrighty, so in terms of a hangar, I'm thinking again a separate but perhaps connected building. Maybe over on this flat bit here. Though having said that, it's not terribly flat. But it's going to have to be quite large, because we're going to need to fly ships and park rovers and all sorts of things into it. So I think a circular one would be really cool, but I did try and build one of those once on the moon and they're really difficult. So I think maybe if we kind of copy this design. Oh, and I did come up with a solution for here, by the way. I don't know why I didn't think of it at the time. But, we've got what I call a 1 and then a 2, and the logical thing would be to continue it with a 3, and that would do the job that we need. Let me just go back to default color. Yeah, there we go, and that performs exactly the function we need, and also kind of blends in better with this. And we can actually do that on this side as well. Makes a lot more sense, looks a lot neater. Okay, so let me get some steel. Now I don't think there's any deposits or anything over here that we need. But the ground does rise up, so I think we just map this out. That would be the normal level, but that's very quickly going to sink underground. So if I start off 1 up, how does that work out in terms of level? Yeah, that works better. Okay, so what we can do now is take those off until we meet the ground somewhere, there somewhere. And let's bring that down. Going to be able to get underneath that one. Like to go down again there, but I can't actually get to the bottom of that, so I think yeah, I haven't actually gained anything there, have I?
Inventory full.
try and do this without making too much of a mess of the ground. Can. Just that for a minute. Need to be able to get underneath that to place a block, so drop that, pick that back up, try and rotate. Come on, you can do it.
Fuel low.
Yes, I know. Okay, so hoping
Fuel critical.
we can carry that on. Let me just weld some of these up against some of this steel. Just see it. There we go. Perfect. Don't know if this is going to need to be piped in ultimately. I think it probably will be. But having got these blocks in to start with, that will make that piping in a lot easier. Okay, so got a gap there through which rovers can pass should they need to. And then what have we got here? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Energy low.
18. If we do an odd number, say 19, and then that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9. And I can't remember if I counted that one or not. I think I might have started on that one actually, but well. Alright, let me quickly zip back and get some energy. Alright, so you get the idea. So it's going to be essentially a big either square, or I might make it sort of curved so it's taller in the middle. Not 100% sure yet, but it's going to be a lot of welding and a lot of messing around. So leave it with me, and I'll bring you back in a little while when we've got all of this laid out. Alright, welcome back guys. So I've laid out the sort of the base of this hangar. I did actually move the connecting piece over one block, and thus the whole sort of hangar over one block. We're still a little bit off, I think. It's bigger than the other building, obviously. The reason I moved it is because it lines up better with the conveyor shafts, as you can see. And I think what I am going to do is to pipe at least a cargo box in, because it's likely in a hangar we're going to be building things, and well, building things, it's a lot easier if we've got inventory access over there. So as you can see, I've marked this block. This is where we need to go under. So I'm going to replace these. Do the rest of them in a minute. With some form of piping. Now, I'm not 100% sure. Let me just get some more of those. Put those. I think if I use the round piping, I can't cover it, and I might use your suggestion, thank you very much again, and put some perhaps heavy armor plating, or at least some armor plating over the top. But to get to it, we need to go down through here, and that's the floor. So I could connect directly into there, I think. Yes, actually I think I can. So let's just give ourselves some headroom. Yeah, see, that's the hydrogen tank there. If we take that one out, we have a conveyor there. That's very convenient. So want to conveyor tube. I think it's that one. Yeah, so if I put the X on the bottom, I don't think it'll make any difference from a point of view of what's the word? Strength. Oh, no, can't. Yeah, so I can't weld that one up now, so let me just temporarily take those out. Okay, so should be able to see. Yes, excellent. Right, so the only thing left to do then is to mark out how this building is going to work, and one of the reasons I'm kind of keen to go for a sort of tunnel type hangar is simply because without a jetpack it's a lot easier because you can walk over the top of it. But obviously it does need to be high enough to get the ships in. My steps in a bit closer. So how are we looking there? If we go up 3, start curving in from there maybe. We could go at a less sharp angle to start with, that would take us higher up. That's probably better. Oh, that's a long way down. I get onto there? Yes. So the only downside of doing this is it kind of requires a double layer, because in order to continue the curve now I need to stick these on here, which is a bit of a pain because it's obviously more steel. On the other hand, it does then mean it's stronger, so there's that. But that's a lot of welding, so I'm not going to bore you with all of that. I'll do that off camera before the next episode, but hopefully the net result will be we'll have a nice large tall hangar, so if I need to be building anything, we might even try and make it airtight if that's at all possible. But yeah, as you can see, it's going to be pretty big. I'm thinking large. And one of the reasons I'm thinking large is because I am going to have to start thinking about a large ship, jump capable. We've got the gold processing now, we will need a lot more obviously, but yeah, we need to get back to Mars and then we need to get back to Earth, so I need a large hangar. Basically, and I think this is probably not going to be large enough. It probably needs to be a lot longer and possibly higher, but we'll have to see how we go with that. Anyway, for now guys, I'm going to have to call it there. I'm sure I have been rattling on for much too long, but it's been a lot of fun. We got quite a lot done in this episode. It's some kind of decent screenshot. So yeah, we have our Stratos miner, which may or may not be working, and we have started on the hangar. I think in the next episode we will try and get something done with the iron mine. Hopefully the hangar will be, well, welded up at least, if not finished, but certainly welded up. And you know, we can maybe start making progress towards getting on with this what I call a capital ship, so a jump capable ship. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me. Hope you enjoyed that. Now, hope to see you on the next one. Bye bye now.